Hello world, I'm coming to you live from my bedroom and I'm here to do Wentworth Season 3's Top 10 Moments. Season 3 of Wentworth was one of my favorite seasons. It was when we got to see B. Smith with her shaved sides. Season 3 had so many great storylines. Oh my goodness. And we had like the team up of B and Frankie. We had B in all her badass glory. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get right into it. Moment number 10 is the very first scene. I believe it's the very first scene in the very first episode of season 3, and that is the aftermath of B having killed Braden when we find out her sentencing. So she's dressed up in her court attire, okay? And we hear like the reporters, the news in the background giving us the lowdown of what happened after B. Smith killed Braden Holtz. And they're telling us, you know what I'm saying, she's been sentenced to life in prison and And at the same time, we find out that not only did B. Smith kill Jacqueline Holtz, death by stabbing in the neck with a pen, she went on to kill Braden, but she basically killed Jack's husband, Vinny, as well. The first time I saw this episode, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh shit, she done took out the whole family. Vinny Holtz, for those of you that don't know or didn't hear or didn't realize, Vinny Holtz had a heart attack like right after Braden's funeral. She wiped out the whole family. I was talking about this in a video back when I was doing the Wentworth Season 9 reviews. I remember talking about this in one of those videos where I was like, I think it was me talking about B and how much of a badass she is. Like, she literally wiped out the whole family. So it was a really good moment. So now we know B. Smith is a lifer. She's in there for life, okay? She committed 2 murders and involuntarily committed a 3rd, you know what I'm saying? Because had it not been for her actions, Vinny Holtz wouldn't have had that damn heart attack and dropped dead. And in that scene, we also got our first glimpse at Kaz. She was like B. Smith's #1 fan. So it was a great opening scene for the season. So again, I gotta, say this in every video. These moments are not in any specific order as far as how they happened on the show. Moment number 9, this happens later on in the last episode of the season. And this is Jessica Warner's death. That shit was fantastic. She really thought that when the freak walked into that room that she was going to talk her way out of what she had just done. She was in the process of trying to smother little baby Joshua, okay? What the fuck, bitch? So she's doing this to the baby. Joan Ferguson walks in. She puts the baby down, just does. And she tries to I was trying to make him stop crying or whatever the fuck this dumb bitch said. And Joan Ferguson, listen, when Joan Ferguson came into that thing, she already knew she was going to kill Jessica Warner. The second you see the freak with those gloves on, you know she didn't come to play. No games with you, okay? So Jessica Warner learned the hard way. You don't do things like this. She got away with, doing what she did to that baby before. She grabs Jessica Warner by the throat, lifts her up effortlessly in the air, okay? And chokes the life out of the bitch. And then tosses her to the side like the trash that she was, okay? And then she proceeds to set the bitch on fire. So that was a great fucking moment. So this is like a double feature moment. Number 9 is, because I don't want to do 11 moments. If this is going to be top 10, then puñeta, I want it to just be 10. So after Joan Ferguson sets fire to this bitch, like an idiot, she didn't think about the repercussions. I think this was the first time that Joan Ferguson was a dumbass bitch on the show. Because hello, what the fuck did you think was going to happen if you set fire to the prison? Like, you didn't think that through. That was a crime of passion in the heat of the moment, and you should have thought it out a little better. Because what happens next is when Joan Ferguson tries to fucking escape and leave and walk out with her, swipe card, the fucking prison, the cell doors did not open. Because that shit is mechanical. And the smoke and all of that shit, the sprinklers that came, I don't know, but everything malfunctioned and the bitch couldn't get out. So now she was going to burn to death along with baby Joshua, along with Justice Corpse. Okay? She didn't think it through. So then what happened? Frankie and B. Smith joined forces, okay, to go into the prison to try to get baby Joshua out. They get baby Joshua out, but Frankie has to stay behind. And then when Joan Ferguson comes to, she sees her surroundings are ablaze. Okay, she sees Frankie. Frankie starts laughing and tells her, what do we do now, bitch? You got any bright ideas, bitch? And that shit was a great fucking moment. Because, like, you know, you thought you was better than everybody. You thought you was smarter than everybody. But look at us. Together as one, we're about to be barbecued up in this bitch. Together. Moment number 8 is when Fletcher walks in on Joan Ferguson having a full-blown freak out, talking shit and arguing with her father, who's no longer with us, okay? He's been long gone in the afterlife. If you ask me, she's the one who killed him. So she's talking to his spirit. She's not talking to him. She's having a full-blown argument with this fucking guy, okay? And she's walking up and down and she's looking like a fucking complete lunatic. And then we see Fletcher watching her. And that's when we saw that nobody was there. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember if this was the first scene where the show showed us as viewers that the father was a spirit. I feel like it was. I could be wrong though, because, you know, my brain sometimes be on some shit. So boom, we see that she's talking to herself, and she looks even crazier when you see that it's just her, right? Okay, fine. So Fletcher sees her, she sees Fletcher, and he's like, yo, you really are a crazy ass bitch. And she looks horrified at the knowledge that he now knows she talks to dead people. I don't know, the more crazier that they showed us that she is, the more I sympathized with Joan and the more I liked her. Moment number 7 is the moment where Kaz arrives at Wentworth. And it's the moment where we see Kaz walking into the prison and B sees her. Now, at this point, B had already like double-crossed Kaz. She used Kaz so that Kaz could get some information for her. And then in the end, she didn't give Kaz what she wanted in return. You know what I'm saying? So Kaz wanted to fuck shit up in return for getting her this information. And B. Smith was like, nah, bitch, I got what I wanted from you. I'm not giving you no more. And so Kaz was pissed. Very, very pissed. She called B. Smith a fucking user and everything. Like, you used me, bitch, to get what you wanted, and then you just threw me to the side. In the end, Kaz walks into that prison, and B. Smith looks at her, and Kaz looks at B. Smith, and Kaz was like, bitch, it's a wrap for your ass. And I remember thinking, oh shit, season 4 is gonna be crazy because Kaz and B. Smith are gonna have beef in season 4. I thought it was gonna be really, really severe. And then came season 4, and I was really, really disappointed. In that moment, we thought that we were gonna be in for some really good beef come season 4. But in my opinion, that just was not the case. Estoy sudando, sudando demasiado. Ay, 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 ay. Tengo calor. Moment number 6 is the moment where Will Jackson finds out that it was Frankie who killed Meg Jackson. This mystery had been going on for at least 2.5 seasons, because I think it was like midway through season 3 that he finds out it was Frankie. It was an accident, we all know, but Meg died either way, okay? So now, after all these seasons, Will Jackson finally finds out who killed his wife. And then he goes to confront Frankie in the hallways. He bashes her up against the wall. We thought he was going to kill the bitch. And then what happens? He didn't kill her. And I was glad, because I loved me some Frankie. You know what I'm saying? It was a fucking accident. How are you going to kill her over an accident? You know, and Will's a good guy. And he knew it was an accident, which is why he couldn't kill her. And I also feel at the same time, a part of him not killing Frankie was that small part of him that was pissed off at Meg Jackson. And even though that was his wife, he hated her a little bit, because after she died, he finds out that she had a full-blown affair with his best fucking friend, got pregnant from him, terminated the pregnancy, and all of this happened while they were married, okay? So a part of him, I feel like knowing that about her is part of the reason why he didn't go full force to avenge the death of his wife. You know what I'm saying? It was an accident. And on top of that, she was an adulterous bitch who couldn't keep her legs closed. And out of everyone in the world that she could have an affair with, she chose my best friend. You know? So, luckily for Frankie that Meg was a fucking scandalous whore. Nah. Well, you know, perhaps. Moving on. Moment number 5 is the moment in which Fletcher gets run over. So he gets run over. He just goes... And that's it. 1 minute you see him, the next minute you don't. So I thought he was dead. Thank goodness he didn't die. Because I liked Fletcher. Even though he was a fucking asshole, there was something about this guy that I liked as a character, you know? But for me, in my opinion, it was a great moment. Moment number four. Moment number four. Oh my God. Sophie's arrival in the prison. That whole entire scene. Vera goes, wakes up Liz, and she's like, we need your help with a new inmate. You know what I'm saying? The bitch is bugging, and we need your help to calm her down. And in my mind, I was like, yo, did you guys not revoke her peer worker, status? So you're no longer peer worker, but Vera felt the need to come and wake you up. I couldn't understand that part when I first watched the episode. I was like, why? Why are they waking her up? You know what I'm saying? Then we see and we hear a crying person. And when we look, the girl looks up from her sweater. It's Sophie. Oh my God, what a great moment that was. And then the look on Liz's face, she was like, oh God, like, oh no, my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh shit, Sophie's in the prison with her mom. You know what's that? Listen, I don't have kids, but I cannot imagine being incarcerated, having a daughter, and then the bitch shows up in prison. Like, now I don't just have to fend for myself, but I have to protect my child as well. I can't even imagine, because hello, Liz, she had already gotten fucked up by Boomer, you know what I'm saying? Like, Liz wasn't the strongest of inmates, okay? So I feel like she got by due to the people that she knew in prison. You know what I'm saying? She was down with the H1 girls. She was always down with like Frankie, top dog, B, top dog. You know what I'm saying? So she always had like people to protect her. But now her daughter's in there. That had to be crazy. I remember being so shocked and just like, wow, what's gonna happen now? Is Sophie gonna die in prison? Like all these thoughts ran through my head. All right, moment number 3 is the moment in which Joan Ferguson gets what she had coming, which was getting arrested. It was Joan's arrest. When she gets arrested after the fucking fires and all that shit happened, she looked fucking crazy, okay? Never have I seen her look so insane as she did when they were walking her out. B tells her what she tells her, and for me, I hated that moment when B tells her, like, if you lead through chaos, you reap what you sow. I hated that moment because I feel like they were trying to recreate a moment that could never be recreated, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Joan walked her ass looking all crazy. Her hair was all a mess. Her facial expression, the way her head twisted back as she was being swept away by the authorities. And the women are all looking on in complete disbelief. I remember being hype. I was like, oh my God, this bitch is going to be one of the women come season 4. So I knew that come season 4, we were in for some shit because Joan Ferguson was going to be one of these women. And it was a great moment, okay? It was great to see her get what she had coming. Moment number 2 is Frankies Release. It's the moment that Frankie was released from prison. She's saying goodbye to her girls. Her and B have a little flirtatious moment. Then she raises her arms high, flips the bird to the whole entire prison and says, say it with me now. She screams it to the top of her lungs. She said it like she meant it. You know what I'm saying? Will's looking at her like, really, Frankie, is that really necessary? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Will Jackson, it was completely necessary. After all she's been through in Wentworth, fuck that place, okay? But the best part of this scene is when she's walking and she's free, right? In the parking lot, and we see Bridget coming out of the vehicle. A hot girl driving a hot-ass car, and that's what Frankie wanted. That was her dream. That's what she saw herself. That's what she wanted for herself in the future. Freedom. And have a hot bitch with a hot vehicle waiting for her. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what Bridget gave her. Oh, it was so sweet. And then they hug and they kiss. And it was so great. You know what I'm saying? And I believe after that is when Kaz arrives. I don't remember. So the number 1 moment. I think y'all all know what this moment is. And that was the disturbance in the yard. B. Smith gets sent to the slot. She orders Maxine and the rest of the women to fucking start a disturbance in the yard. They take all their mattresses, they set them on fire. Maxine asserts her authority for the first time. Will Jackson was surprised by it. He was even a little fucking pleased by it, I think, because you see a little smile on his face, like a little smirk/smile on his face, like almost like if he was thinking, I knew you had it in you, Conway. We had that outside. On the inside, what was happening was Juice and her boys, they held Vera hostage real quick. They stole her swipe card. They went and got B. Smith out of the fucking slot, stuck Vera in the slot, okay? And bring B to the yard. Then what happens? Joan Ferguson's presence is requested in the yard. Joan comes into the yard, and who the fuck does she see coming out of the flames like a phoenix rising from the ashes? B. Smith. B. Smith walks up to Joan. She tells the women to shut the fuck up. She's just like, and they shut up. B. Smith held so much power in season 3. It was fucking great. So B. Smith goes up to her. They say what they say. This is the moment, the number one moment. Everything I just said, that was all the lead up to this moment. B looks at Joan Ferguson in the fucking face and she tells her, "You don't run this prison. I do." And then the beat drops to that song, and then the women walk back into their units, and Joan Ferguson is left standing there like a fucking idiot, not knowing what the fuck just went down. You know what I'm saying? You got played by an inmate, and she done told you that you don't run the prison. She does. Because Joan Ferguson, earlier on in that episode, told B. Smith, "You don't run this prison. I do." And so now B. Smith showed her, "Nah, bitch, you don't run this prison. I do." And it was epic. It was legendary. It was the shit that fucking legends are made of, okay? That scene right there. And going back to the fire, Joan told B. Smith the same thing. When you lead through chaos, you reap what you sow, whatever the fuck the shit was. So when B. Smith told her that at the end, I just thought it was kind of corny because we already had that moment where Joan tells B. Smith something and B. Smith says it back to her. And it was in the form of, "You don't run this prison, I do." So when I heard the whole, you blah, 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 you reap what you sow, I was like, oh God, please. You can never recreate that moment. So please don't try. So for me, that moment didn't have like an effect the way that "You don't run this prison" had an effect. Oh my God, it was great. That was my season 3 top 10 moments. Were there any moments that I didn't mention that you think were top 10 worthy? If so, let me know in the comments down yonder. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good shit. And that's it. Goodbye.